Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another stream. It's Friday, July 7. It's 11:07 Los Angeles time. I'm very happy to welcome everyone to the stream. Really glad to see everyone online. Great to see familiar names and faces. I'm happy to say that we gaining a momentum. It's moving forward. We have updates every week, and we have updates this week. I'm happy to say that those updates are from community, and that's feels very warm. Hi Sean, hi Phil, hi Oli, Roma, Maxime, Taylor, hi everyone. So during the week, um, I'm connecting with all of you offline, not on the stream. I'm connecting with you guys offline, uh, not on the stream. We're having conversations about next steps. Um, there is progress. It feels new and fresh, and there's a lot of energy behind what we started to do. Um, Sometimes I feel a little nostalgic about um, how much work was done. I would go and look through old images and old prototypes and just realizing how much work was done before, how much experimentation and prototypes were put in to be here. It's one way to think about it as nostalgia, another way to think about it as a prototype. So I think if we talk about the company, we can talk about a lot as event, and then there's a lot of nostalgia. Like we did so much work, and we have to restart almost every year with new ideas, trying to refine them, and it just feels hard. Another way to think about it is a company, not as an event. And then we think about it as a company, it feels very positive because, well, we still need to do something to be able to scale it. Something was missing. Maybe it was too early. Maybe it was ahead of its time. Maybe we did uh, too much of iterations. Maybe we needed to focus more on the past. In the past, maybe we needed to keep focus, not for a month or 2 months, but for years and years and years. Maybe we needed to focus more on operations and business. In any way, uh, the best way to think about what is an organization, a company. So there are a few things that needed to be in place. There must be a healthy operation, business. healthy revenue streams, profitability, stability. Even for a startup, there must be stability. Everyone must be paid on the right time without delays. There must be career opportunities where people can grow and build uh, their lives further. And in order to achieve all that, the product must be scalable. So this is recurring theme that I'm doing doing these trips. This iteration is that even if we can get fast to 100, 500 users, we've done that, and we've done to 1,000 users. But how we can get to 50,000 and 100,000 users within 3 to 5 years? I think that's the most important uh, focus, and the most important daily reminder and daily question is that the company must be at 50 or 100,000 users. Especially looking back, uh, everyone in the team gave a big part of their life to lot, to work, and um, there must be outcome. It's financial, it's stability, growth. So those things are very, very important. And so moving forward, um, it's for me not about doing it as fast as we can or launching as many features and many ideas as possible. It's about finding a stable business model to grow. I think the community is amazing. We have the best ideas and the best value proposition. The promise of the company is one of the most interesting, and we see new companies, new startups arrive, um, older startups developing. But the promise of Float is one of the most interesting on the market. So how we keep it promising, but also profitable, it's important. There's a lot of back and forth conversation about funding. We still at the conversation: do we have to trust investors, and where the company based? And I hope that those questions will be sorted as soon as possible so we can move forward. We learned in the past that having funds to ship products or have an online presence is not enough. There must be uh, a business strategy to scale the growth, to scale the user base. So that's the focus. And uh, even if the first iteration of this new lot will be delayed, it's only because we're looking for that trajectory. I know that there can be no shortcuts. Like we can't just do it fast. And out of sudden there's a big user base and it's working. But there's definitely a way to have a trajectory towards scalability. Fumble is saying how to make mainstream with underground ideas. Yes, but that's interesting. I think all underground ideas, I mean, all mainstream ideas come from underground ideas. And having underground music, underground ideas, being at the uh, at the front of software development, product development, contemporary design is only are only benefits of what we have. There's a lot of things happen in the world, so um, the general stability of a mindset of our generation, at least, was shaken, and I feel that bringing stability to the product is one of the most important pieces of the puzzle, and that logic brings us to understanding that having something new every month maybe not the right trajectory. Promising something new every year and switching to the new theme might be not the best trajectory, but establishing a coherent narrative, a simple roadmap, and delivering those products stably and surely is the most important. The manufacturing in general is harder with that because the company would require manufacturing facility. That means stable jobs for people who assemble, who manufacture. That means a big bank account, which we aiming towards. Uh, and so perhaps the first step for us will be a digital product that require less of offline maintenance, um, something that can grow faster. That's why we focusing in this iteration uh, to start with a digital product first, considering that there's new technology available, AI, considering that it is still unknown territory, and it will be very helpful to bring our vision of self-care, of human interactions to the AI. And after that, expanding it to physical products. And after that, expanding it beyond. So not everything at once, but step by step. McLean is saying, I think it's a question of how can you nurture the ground so that plants can grow, instead of designing the plant and putting it in the ground. Yes, that's a good way to put it. Building the foundation for the house instead of going right away for the decorating the apartment. So, or decorating the house or picking the furniture. First, we need to design the landscape, break the ground for the house, and then house will emerge. We have a great foundation, which is community, the brand, and all the prototypes. And while I'm going constantly through reiteration, looking for this right trajectory for it to be sharp, I see that the logic was correct and the logic was stable. So we have stable logic, we have stable vision. Um, we need to get to stable product offering that will generate a stable revenue stream. Very interesting comments on the previous previous stream, so I would like to read them. An artificial intelligence software that helps people, everyday people, living in the real world would be great. My daily routine is not structured, so it would be interesting to see habits learned by use. Biggest concern is data brokers and background information being sold or leaked. We need the best security here. Wish I knew more programming to help. The key, great comment. The key here is everyday people living in the real world, not at the computer, not in the web-free environment, but living everyday life. Help everyday people to structure the self-care routine and make it safe and private and long-term. I'm thinking that then we talk about software in general. It feels like there's an app. I use it for a couple of months, then I delete it. Then I use another app, then I delete it. And so there's no stability in those kind of products. There are only few apps that we trust and use for a long time, and they don't necessarily come from big corporations. So for us, it's important to have a product, might be digital product, that will stay, and you can rely on it for years and be familiar with the interface for years and know the interface for years, uh, trust in it. Those apps, Google Docs, but apps like mindful apps, meditation apps, kind of task managers, diaries, they don't really work long term. So how can we focus on the product that is more service rather than excitement? It's another comment. I suggest to think about walking routine. It's even more interesting for our body. Is it easy and efficient for uh, cardio- cardiovascular health, heart health, available for a wider range of human beings than running? Yes, that's very interesting. The walking is very interesting. It's one of the most available self-care routines that we kind of neglect because we think that maybe it's a waste of time or we can spend time better. So allocate time for walking is very interesting and help people to go out and walk, find the reason for it. I have push notifications from the phone saying you almost reach your goal. You almost reach your goal. Like that's not super positive at the end of the day. Only this amount of calories left, only this amount of steps left. So we want to have a interface that is more friendly for the same functionality. Another comment, have we talked about biofeedback and neurofeedback? It can be very useful to detect low signals and determine patterns of our body. Yes, very interesting. Perhaps a lot of those questions can be answered without even intrusive hardware, just being there with a person and helping a person to answer uh, those questions for themselves. For example, Phil, he's in the chat. He built a lot self-care Telegram bot. It's already hooked to an AI model, and it's already learning about you. And just based on this prototype, it is very interested to see my own interaction. For example, it ask me question, um, did you have a balanced lunch today? Yes, no, without me tracking what I ate or without me taking a photo of it, going super complex about it, it already gives me an idea or a prompt for myself. I must have a balanced lunch today. Another question was, did you engage in any creative or hobby related activities today? Yes, no. Same thing. The day goes by, I don't even think about it. But once I have this prompt, I think about it and think, what is there anything else I'm doing uh, besides focused work or focused routine? And that kind of breaks the day from like surviving the day to enjoying the day without hardware, without um, calories, numbers, just this thought. So planting those thoughts in the right moment, day after day, and being careful and nurturous about it is a big value proposition. Another question was, did you engage in any form of physical activity today? Yes, no. It's a way of tracking without of sport activity. Most people are not on like sport routine, not on exercise routine, and it comes from the mind. And just that prompt gave me an idea to at least do push-ups in the morning. So maybe one day soon, if I receive this prompt again and again and again, those morning push-ups will be more of a habit rather than a guilt or some kind of corporate prompt. And if the system can remember my answer, it can come back more delicately about it. If I say no, 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 no a few times over the week or over the months, maybe it can come up with a more creative way to ask me that and giving me like actually saying, did you spend 2 minutes doing 5 push-ups this morning? Or maybe we can do 5 push-ups this morning. It's only 3 minutes. Let's do it. Maybe later, whatever. Thank you. Um, so it's interesting work around tracking. It's interesting work around self-care where it's thoughts and someone is being there with you rather than uh, pushing you for numbers that doesn't really work. So I would like to go through the document that Lera prepared. You probably know Lera. She's been working on a lot for a long time. Her designs are the products. She is responsible to designing most of the products at lot, both digital, website, and physical. So there's a lot of understanding behind what we're building, and she prepared a user experience overview that we will use for the base of this new product offering. So a lot was used to focus on individual user needs. was focused on me, personal care, individual. But along with COVID and unfortunate political, economical, environmental events, everything changed and shifted from creating a new, more beautiful world to finding ways escaping, distancing from one we live in. I feel that that's a great introduction to the problem our generation or us facing because I'm pretty sure that most of the people in the chat and people who watch creative and we were spending just so much time in front of computer trying to build something better because we saw the opportunity and I spent my time most of my life in front of computer designing, drawing, making products. So there's better thing, not necessarily chasing uh, financial or recognition, but just how can we make something most beautiful. And when for the past 3 4 years the situation changed dramatically in the world, it feels a little bit disappointing and sad. Like, why would I spend so much time in front of the computer? It's um, not in my control. It's still going to kind of wrong direction. So it's a lot about building the hope and building a product that will contribute and finding for us, for all of us, I think, finding resources and energy again and again, not to fight, I guess, as an anarchy with politics and economy, um, but rather finding energy and a way to continue the development of the most beautiful world. So Larry's saying that perhaps the natural shift of focus is from a lonely fighter, a lonely person to a group member, a father, a son, a friend, a mother, a colleague, a fellow user, because we can organize, feed each other, and find a way to build a beautiful world together. So that's the promise. I really like the fellow user. It's very neutral. Self-care is the practice of taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. It is essential for maintaining a healthy and balanced life. There are parts like physical, mental, social, emotional, spiritual. Physical will be sleep, sport, nutrition, hygiene. Mental, reading, learning new skills, creative pursuits, meditation. Social, participating in communities, sense of belonging, quality time with your loved ones. Emotional, joyful activities, therapy, spiritual nature, spiritual practices, psychedelics, meditation. When considering self-care in the context of family, it refers to the intentional actions taken by individuals to prioritize their own well-being while fulfilling their responsibilities and nurturing their family relationships. It involves recognizing and addressing one's own needs, boundaries, and personal growth, while also creating a supportive and nurturing environment for the family unit as a whole. It's a very interesting approach. Self-care in the context of family makes a lot of sense. And when you want to be a good family member, a good partner, self-care becomes much more important than you are by yourself. So when it's me, it's personal timeouts, personal space, individual self-care routines, boundaries. But when it's us, it's shared self-care routines, cooperation, quality family time. I really like this outline here uh, in a shared self-care routines. It's brushing teeth together before going to sleep. It's an amazing magic moment, and that's amazing focus for a lot. If we talk about oral hygiene, so is it about a box with a toothbrush, toothpaste, floss every month, or is it about finding new products, even new physical products, new hardware to promote brushing teeth together before going to sleep, rather than you by yourself alone, reminiscing about past day and kind of anxious about next day. Shared meals, family outings, game nights, cooking together is essential, and it comes from the head. It's hard to achieve. It's a beautiful phrase and beautiful routine, cooking together, but you know that it only happens when everything is balanced and everything is great. So cooking together is like a sensor. If you're doing it together, if you're cooking together, eating food together, that means that the relationship is balanced and the self-care is there. So what comes first? Cooking together ritual or all the steps before that leading you to that? Perhaps a right prompt on the app can promote that. Maybe there's a product, physical product that promote that. Distributing chores, collective joggings. So in that context, self-care become more valuable, more interesting and fun, rather than you by yourself. I feel that if it's about just me, then it's harder to find value behind it or inspiration to do it. If it's us, it's easier and better to find inspiration to do those things. Self-care tools, tangible objects and experiences. So over the past years, we had quite a lot of experience sorting, curating, designing physical products, and understanding which products are manufacturable, shippable, but also what people need and what people don't need. We have a lot of feedback from you, from users, knowing what products people want less monthly and what products people need more every month. Sometimes a product would be designed for personal use, but we know that people would gift it and they would request more so they can gift more. So it also fits to the vision. Lot can help individuals as well as families to evenly cover the body, mind, and spirit needs by providing an AI-based assistance online and sending curated products offline on a monthly basis. We can ensure they have the tools and resources to engage in self-care practices together. So here's a list of the products that we all use or want to use, but more or less those products are suitable for every single human being on planet Earth. Everyone need toothbrush, everyone need tooth powder or toothpaste. A lot of people need dental floss. Everyone on the planet needs soap, but we can add things like bath salt, bath sponge, body oil to promote these new self-care activities. And looking at this list, it's one thought, let's build one by one and just pack them into the box and send. Another thought is how we promote those high-level experiences like tooth and brush together, tooth and brushing the teeth together with a toothbrush. Uh, might be a collection of toothbrushes for the family. It might be some interesting stand or packaging that promote that. So to us, oral hygiene goes next level from the just utility to like physical utility, like the need to brush the teeth every day, to promoting a good feeling about it and new feeling about it. We can look at this list as a roadmap for the products we would like to launch one by one, all together, within 1 year, within 3 years or 5 years. That question depends mostly on funding, of course, but by our experience, with very little resources, we were able most of this launch most of these products. So I feel that the question here is more about experience and the end goals rather than just having resources to manufacture everything and ship everything. Besides physical products, Slot used to foster meaningful connections by organizing user meetups for local communities. Moscow, Los Angeles, Berlin. We can continue hosting these events as well as consider new formats. Group hikes, short camping trips, invite friend curators for workshop and classes, cooking, yoga, etc. Parents and kids meetup, outdoor movement workshops, yoga, tai chi, self-care DIY stations, curated events where participants can create their own personalized products, such as bath salts, candles, or herbal teas. We need a new meetup soon, somewhere in Moscow, Los Angeles, Europe. That's a great way to put it. I really like the group hike or parents and kids meetup. And so, in order for us to scale it long term, we think that having an AI assistant, self-care assistant, is a great way to glue it all together, because there's so much information and opportunities and eventually products that having an AI assistant that glue those experiences and products together in a seamless experience without being a subscription service where you can just subscribe or stop subscription, be anxious about monthly spendings or the products arriving in the right time, in the right place. Having a digital layer will help to have a seamless experience for years, even if you don't want to receive physical products. Self-care is indeed a sensitive topic, so interaction between the user and operating system must be sensing, subtle, and seamless. The following is the list of features that can create such an experience. One of the things we prototyped, and it's very important for the product, is context awareness. So simply time of the day, morning, afternoon, evening. Morning, how to start the day on a positive note. Afternoon, quick mental physical breaks. Tips for staying focused and productive. Evening, focus on winding down, relaxation, and better sleep hygiene. Location is another context metadata that is important. Home, outdoors, or the country you are in. Weather and environmental conditions, sunny day or rain. Something very simple that we can use already, and that just this entry will can curate the prompt in a meaningful way. And in kind of counterintuitive way. For example, if it's raining and we know that raining just started, if there's a prompt saying it's rain, it's rare that there's rain in Los Angeles, maybe it's great to step out and enjoy the weather. So that might feel as a magic moment for a person because it's counterintuitive, it's will feel very personalized, very personal, and it will create a memory based on this prompt. Activity and sleep patterns. Low energy, suggesting activities to boost energy. Troubles falling asleep, encouraging relaxation and sleep promoting practices. Emotional state and stress levels. Self-care practices to manage stress or uplift mood. Adaptive and personalized recommendations based on the user feedback, interest and progress. Emotional intelligence to provide empathetic and supportive responses that are tailored to the user's emotional state. Progress and achievements visualization, allowing users to see their growth, accomplishments, and areas of improvement over time. I feel this point is very crucial for the upcoming product because we would have questions before and people would put a lot of energy towards answering those questions and kind of assembling the data, but they wouldn't have access to see the results. So being able to track the progress, see the visualization behind it is very important. Subtle nudges and reminders. Rather than intrusive or abrupt notifications, subtle vibrations, soft sounds, or visually pleasing prompts that blend seamlessly into the user's daily routine. That's another interesting point because the prompt in the app can be not necessarily text, but a vibration or a change of the screen light that only you know what it means right moment. Same example where it's raining and there's notification from, and we know that you were not in a good mood recently, and there's a prompt notification on your phone, you open it and it's just yellow light, and that's it. So those things equally meaningful to like AI prompts. Those things are feels very intimate and personal. Personalization options according to users' preference, setting the frequency of reminders, selecting preferred undesirable topics of interest. Zero judgment environment. Lot provides users with tools and assistance, leaving critics and opinion making to the user only. Non-biased language, avoiding assumptions, stereotypes, or passing judgment on the user's beliefs, values, choices, experiences, or preferences. Positive reinforcement for self-care efforts and progress, focusing on users' achievements and growth rather than perceived shortcomings. Ensure any feedback is constructive and supportive in nature, aiming to help the user improve their self-care practices without criticizing or shaming them. Even passive shaming is happening throughout the corporate apps. non-directive guidance and suggestions for empowering users to make their own choices in their self-care journey. And this zero judgment environment can be very personalized. And some people might need more kind of determined language to help them. Some people might need more passive language. And I feel that this can be personalized too. Another part is customer support, which is a big part, and it can be done through those prompts and questions too within the app. Um, we learned that customer support is sometimes 50% of the service. So having the customer support built in to the app and there's easy access to technical and service questions is the key. Seamless integration across all platforms uh, is important part two. While we deciding if we should go for the next after Telegram, we should go for web app or native OS app. Perhaps web app is the best because it would work on Android and iPhone and desktop and tablets, and that may be the best way to go is a web app for now, although it might limit some features. Of course, confidentiality and privacy is important. On that, I want to add that on that topic, I would like to add that we are always design those prompts in a very abstract way. So even though the prompt can feel intimate, it is still very abstract, and it will not make sense for anyone to understand it or see it, only you. So I think that's kind of that privacy is built in. So we're not asking medical questions. We're not asking, yeah, the only confidential information might be your name or maybe family status. Uh, but rather than that, but everything else is very abstract and makes sense only to you. So data sources uh, is the questions that we ask and the answers that people answer. The again the architecture is that we're testing and that we would like to build is that there's AI generated question based on the subject, and then there's AI generated answers. So you don't input anything, you don't text back, you don't talk to it, you only select the right answer. But those answers and questions can be so meaningful. Which type of environment brings you a sense of calm and peace? Home or personal sanctuary, nature or outdoor settings, cozy cafes or public spaces, cultural or artistic venues. Just based on this answer, we can create a whole path of questions for a person. And it's very different for everyone. How do you typically celebrate or reward yourself for achieving personal milestones or goals? Indulging in a favorite treat or meal, treating yourself to a self-care activity, spending quality time with loved ones, buying something special for yourself, taking a day off or planning a mini adventure. Nothing special. You see, once you read this, you already start to think what's it for me, how I actually doing it, how I actually rewarding myself. And then if I, if I, my answer is nothing special, it start, you start to think about why it's nothing special. Why wouldn't I take a day off? Why wouldn't I take a mini adventure? Why I wouldn't buy something special for myself? So it's a lot of love and a lot of freeing for a person without crazy push notification or you might also like, etc. And so the outcome that we want to bring to this new app compared to the previous iterations is that you have a result. So say it's weekly base. In every week, you have a refined story about yourself, like a diary entry. But the diary entry is generated. Based on your answers, you prioritize nature-based activities and physical fitness, finding solace outdoors. You value midday breaks and energizing evenings for self-care. You reward yourself by buying something special, and while social connections play less role, you nurture relationship uniquely. You cherish a peaceful home sanctuary for self-care practices. That can be turned into opinion from the machine, that can be turned into diary entry, which we refined every week. That can be uh, made different with some numbers around it, where like a therapist or a coach, every week someone talks about you. So using those prompts, people can mood track themselves and activity track themselves. Later down the road, we can start adding wearable devices and sensors, and that can be custom for everyone. So if you're more into sport, you maybe already have a wearable device. Well, you can plug it in, perhaps Apple Watch or some other available fitness trackers. Maybe we build our own eventually. There's a great example of the value proposition for the lot. And if you used lot app before, you know that that's really the key. And that's what we trying to build. If it will be only about those prompts on repeat, it will be much easier. But this is a great example of how delicate and intimate this system is. Instead of asking how did you sleep today, the question like anxious about going to sleep, and the answer is how do you know, is makes the whole difference, because there's something that we don't want to talk about, and it's kind of even scary to talk about it. But someone asking you this question, well, you will feel not alone. And after that, if that's true, if you're anxious about going to sleep, down the road, next night, there's a prompt. You open it, and it's just a very subtle light blinking, and then there's noise machine going on. Or crickets machine going on, just because you answer something. Uh, so that will be a magical moment for a person without what about today? What about tonight? So it's building a story, a narrative for this one single prompt, sleep. Perhaps we can think about prompt as an app by itself. So if the prompt about sleep, it's some kind of widget that can be grown and enhanced over time. The oral hygiene prompt is not about asking you, did you brush teeth today? Did you brush teeth today? Rather, it's a widget that's growing. One day it can suggest you a song to play before in the morning, or a song to play before going to sleep. It even might say, don't worry about brushing your teeth today. Things like this to me is counterintuitive, but that's an oral hygiene too. So that's the product we would like to deliver as soon as we can. Um, it's very focused on few rituals per day. Perhaps it's oral hygiene, sleep, and walking activity. Perhaps it's just walking and just sleep. Eventually, each category can expand, creating more widgets, more paths for answering. And eventually, those prompts will be integrated with physical products. So depend on how you answer a set of questions or how you assemble a category, we will recommend the products. Thank you, Lara, for this groundbreaking work. It's a big piece of the puzzle. It's a foundation for this new system. I feel that it resonates a lot with last week stream. We talked about fields work, so it's all connected. Um, Next step for us will be to understanding how broad this subject is, focus on just few widget prompts, focus on the simplest but beautiful web app, and launch it as soon as possible. So we can start testing it, interacting with the machine, and experiencing this intimate uh, interface. Reading through comments. Natural rhythms over forced habits is the key. Ritual comes from within. Fumble saying, I think I see an opportunity in simple time management program like time blocking, allocating time. McLean is asking, I kind of wonder how to strike a balance within self-optimization so that it is actually healthy and does not become obsessive. It's a good point. Um, the pacing of prompts is the answer. Um, Sometimes in the previous prototypes, you might have 3 questions per day, morning, evening, night, and then 2 days silence. So that creates a sense of um, intimacy and not intrusive. So it's only talks to you. It's not there as a user growth tool like notifications are. If humble say, I feel the need to study someone that has a well-rooted daily routine, how it happened, how it evolves. It's a very interesting question. Uh, that's the thing. I feel that for many people, it's very different. And so some people would have a very structured daily routine organized by 15 minutes windows, and they would have life hacks and biohacks and just doing vitamins. For some other people, it might seem like an escape, running away from reality too. So the balance is the key, and being humane is the key. It's hard to create a template for how it's supposed to be. So I guess that's why we want to use artificial intelligence, because there's so much information that will be uh, processed that it can create an outline of how people want to feel. Journaling, process emotions via writing. Journaling is a good word. It's like automated journaling. Is saying, I think Lot could be the tipping point where instead of the human spend his time connecting to an app, the app helps the human to be connected with the real world and creating along with him. That's the goal. That's very, very well put. The goal is to use the app less. And again, based to the spaced question, naturally, then the question hit right and you resonate with it. You open the app and you want more questions. And people ask on previous prototypes, how can I request a question? Because there would be days that I don't have it. But that's the key. That it's not about the app. It's not about being glued to the app. It's just I'm here for you. I'm learning about you, but there's world out there. This doc is amazing. Fumble saying, I think everybody needs a timepiece and water container, a watch and a bottle. That's a good way to put it. A watch and a bottle. JE saying, makes me think in the direction of all encompassing self-contained super apps like WeChat. That's shifting the focus for like business. Yes, absolutely 100%. That's the vision. WeChat is great if you ever used it. It feels like your own operating system, and there's no analogs in US. Um, so creating something like WeChat with focus around you, but not like Amazon, not like Facebook ecosystem, is a great product direction. It's a platform as a service with everything you need, but not intrusive. Utilizing new tools like AI with beautiful interface. Always say notification more as a notion of I'm here for you versus wake up. I agree. Marco Vargas. Also, I think a lot could be besides uh, the world of products and services, be social media that human need integrated since we could pay for products for the AI assistant. It is a way of social media could be. If I like rain and you like rain, it's already a match. So perhaps there's something out of it. Marco Vargas saying, can someone tell me which the name of the Telegram lot bot? I'm trying to find it, but it uh, can't find it. So I will post the link to this document, and there's a link from the previous session. So it's amazing, amazing session. I would like to go through one more document. It's very cool from the future. It's from Lova. He sent a new document, and it's he called it Fit System. Modularity, simple, universal, anatomical, nature-based. So the vision is that after scanning the foot through the Lot app, we create an anatomical model of the user's foot and print it on the 3D printer. So each user has individual designed shoe that can be 3D printed or even manufactured. I can't even imagine how satisfying it will be to have a mold of your feet versus a generic shoe, and then use that mold to print or receive new shoes every month that can evolve, that can be based on different needs, but it always feels like it's for your feet. The anatomical structure inside allows it to be used in everyday life. It can be worn without a sole. If the user needs extra care or extra comfort, Lot offers modules. The base is first module. Walking is provided with extra softness and protection. In the base module, you can walk, rest, and live without resisting circumstances. So the core is the like a mold of your feet, and then you attach different modules for different occasions. The base module here is calm and natural, inspired by nature. By removing the extra stabilization, we allow the user to feel the flow and his position in space, directing the focus to slight mobility. ACT. The Act module is a sport. Using core as the basis will allow the system to be modified to meet the needs of the user. The Act is needed for active movement. Act module for users who resist circumstances. Extra stabilization, sole cushioning, and foot angle makes the movement animal-like. Core is the base. Modules act base are the soul. The flexibility of the modules allow to play out the user scenario, whatever it may be. The number of modules is unlimited. Thank you, Lova. This is a very big idea. I personally never heard about anything like it. Um, imagining the it's just imagining this product where you one moment it says would you like a new pair of shoes? You says yes. Then the app switch to the camera. You scan your feet, and then if you have 3D printer, you receive a model. If you don't, you in a week you receive a personalized molded foam shoe that only fits to your feet perfectly, and it feel like a hug for the feet, like a sock. And that mold can evolve, and reprint, and um, feels like those custom-made earpieces. That also could be a very cool pop-up store where you scan the mold, scan your feet, and get the mold right away, and walk away with a pair of shoes. It's a big idea. Amazing how it works together. So very, very exciting. It will be interesting to manufacture this in the US. It will be interesting to find resources to do it. I think like everything we talk here, one way it feels very futuristic. In other way, it's absolutely manufacturable. It's a reality. So we'll continue conversation and think about it. That's amazing. Thank you for sending it, and we'll post this to Instagram so we can continue the conversation. It's really, really cool. These are cool. Love how these are custom made for your feet and manufactured by yourself. Good way to put it. Manufactured by yourself. Such a great line. Looks like a evolutionary breakthrough. I agree. This feels like a breakthrough. It's just the ultimate vision for what we're doing is that if everything is, it's same example with the prompts and the questions. 3 years ago, we talk about those questions and asking those questions with prompts, and it would be like some of sci-fi that you're assembling some kind of vision of yourself online that will help you to track your routine and perhaps send products. It was sci-fi. Now with AI, it's modern reality. Actually, can we make it more complex? Can we find even that's what we're doing? Can we go even deeper because the technology allow? So I feel that this kind of products, super personalized, um, that come from digital, designed by the machine, but fits you and just you, is the future. June, the community is full of great ideas. Love the galoshes vibe. Ignore. Yes, me too. It's very, very inspiring and feels very, very new. Let's think about it as pieces of the puzzle. And we just talked about the digital layer, physical products for self-care. It's already a lot to build and produce. And so without time constraint, it's 2 years program. This feels like the next step, but a vision of how it's supposed to be. The self-care beauty containers must be personalized. The toothbrush must be designed and personalized and uh, be custom made. With 3D printing, computer vision, AI, machine learning, it's moving to that direction anyway. And uh, if now the brands just starting to add initials to the products or maybe some customization, just like Apple brought the revolution with CNC manufacturing, allowing it to move faster than plastic molds, working with aluminum fast, changing the molds within hours, bringing the whole uh, billions of devices to CNC manufacturing rather than mold manufacturing. The next iteration is personalization. So at some point within 10 years, printers will be able to grow these products within hours, maybe even minutes. And so once that is in place, growing a shoe that is personalized to your feet is the only logical conclusion. So it's spot on, I feel. That's what I think. There's one more surprise and great moment to celebrate is a playlist from Oli B. And that playlist, the link is in the document, so I recommend to prompt you to go to the Spotify and listen to it. It's really cool. It also comes with ideas around sound, and sound is a big part of a lot. And I like how Oli said it in the email. Sound is the most vital self-care routine. It's also one of the most accessible self-care routines. So uh, there's a lot of ideas in the email about personalized sound, how to make music and sound work around this uh, personalized system. Maybe depends on the question you the question depends on how you answer the question. There could be a sound generated for you or playlist generated for you. So uh, it's a big subject and very interesting. Please listen to the playlist. Thank you so much, Oli, for making it. That's a highlight for the week and a great celebration for this week and end of the session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the discussion. It's absolute happiness and pleasure to read through the comments and seeing the discussion. It's a puzzle. It's a vision that we put together. Um, every week is an addition to the story. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the conversation and the ideas and prototypes. Uh, we are working too. So I hope we will be able to uh, share more news next week and have tangible products and prototypes so we can engage even further.